So we know there's like different flavors of DEI, and you see some that are totally off the spectrum, and others that are more in alignment to what we think of when we think of corporate DEI work. How do you feel your company comes into a problem or a situation, or maybe not a problem? Maybe you're, trying to just help infuse some diversity and, inclusion.
It's usually a problem.
I was trying to be, careful with what I had addressed it. But how do you position yourself so that you're not considered the token at the same time you're there to impact and affect change?
Right. So the way that we approach DEI for any organization is from a strategic lens. Again, I told you I'm organizational design. And so when you approach DEI from a strategic lens, it's usually getting embedded in your strategic plan. And so it's infused in the operations of the business. It's not this, oh, we're doing this add-on, or we're going to celebrate Women's History Month. We're going to throw a party. It's not that. It's about, how do we talk to our customers? How do we view our customers? How do we listen to make sure we're designing the right products for our customers? It's really changing the dynamics of like this ivory tower mentality. We're going to do onto you. But more so, how do we do stuff together and share power and do all of the important things that DEI needs, but not all DEI strategists talk about.
Correct.
So that's our approach. It's more from a strategic, holistic lens. Some of our clients do celebrate, but you're not getting away with just celebrating holidays. You need to do
it's
deeper
a culture
work.
thing, right?
Exactly.
Or a culture shift or a culture change potentially in some cases, right?
In many cases.
It's very, I think it's very eye-opening just to see. Now, obviously, DEI is not my space, but I know I've heard, and I have other friends that are in that space, and I've heard there still is a lot of resistance. It might be unspoken resistance, but wanting to inject that diversity. Like you said, it's almost like we're going to celebrate because it's Black History Month. We're going to celebrate because it's Women's History Month, and they pick these holidays or pillars, tenets, or whatever as this is how we're diverse. But then they don't speak to culturally how they're changing. Like it's very hush. It still seems very hush hush.
Right.
Do you see that as well, or?
Yeah, some clients, and so I call it like performative, where it's just like surface level changes that we want to talk about versus the deep change that we want to talk about. And I think the problem really is because of the acronym DEI. It centers the D. And the D stands for diversity. And that's something that you can see very easily when you walk into an organization. At face value, you can see the color that people are. You can't see some of those hidden identities like disabilities, intersectional identities around, motherhood is an identity, right? You can't see some of those things on the surface. But for most people at face value, they're looking at race, ethnicity. That's the wrong place to start on any DEI initiative. You really need to start talking about, how do people feel like included in this space? Do they feel like they can really be their whole selves? Like that's the I work. And then you got to tackle the E work, which is really hard. But when you do those two, you will get the diversity that you want. But you cannot tackle this D brute force.
And that be it.
That's not going to solve it, because you're going to bring in people of color. You're going to bring in people from different backgrounds. And guess what? They're going to leave. Because they don't feel comfortable. It's not for them. And so I think that's a big challenge that I see often. And so people just really have to reorient themselves about, how do I want, like what outcome do I want, and how do I need to change my approach to get that deeper transformation versus that performative
surface
piece.
level kind of.